Lester and Jane, thank you for joining us today, and appreciate taking time to be interviewed. Question number one, before you went to Marville, where were you living?
We were living in Uplands in Ottawa.
Okay.
Yeah, right here in Ottawa.
And so when did you first learn that you were going to this exciting country, France?
Do you remember?
Well, I don't remember the exact time, but go ahead.
Well, I remember because in the spring of every year, we would always start getting antsy because we knew Dad was going to hear any day. He's going to get a posting. We weren't sure where we were going, but we were going to hear soon.
Right.
And so we were always kind of, I used to find it anxious. I would be anxious waiting to hear. And when he came in, he was happy.
Okay.
And he said, "We got it. We're going to France."
Cool.
And Mom and Dad were really happy because
then they could go and visit their relatives in England.
Our family was all in England. We had no family in Canada. We were fairly new.
Well, we had one
uncle that lived in Canada.
So all your relatives came from England?
We immigrated from England.
Oh, I see.
We immigrated.
So you were born in England?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, like me, I was born in Cambridge.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was born in Scotland.
I was born in Cornwall. Padstow, Cornwall.
Yeah, it's right in Cornwall,
Wow.
My father was in the Navy, in the British Navy at that time.
All right, wow.
Yeah.
So I see why your dad would be happy.
Oh, they were both so happy. And of course it fell over to us. We got excited too.
Yeah.
We had a younger sister and an older sister. They were not so happy.
Well, no, but
leaving your friends.
I remember Janet and I, my older sister. We would try to fantasize what it was going to be like, and we thought, okay, we're both going to I'll buy a blue motorcycle and get a blue leather jacket, and she'll buy a pink motorcycle, buy a pink leather jacket, and we'll go all over the place.
It sounds like, well, at least you were excited about going.
Oh yeah. We were excited.
So you get on the plane. Did you fly or a boat?
We flew.
Yeah, we flew.
The Yukoner.
The Yukon. Yeah. It was before the 707.
14 hours.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
The propeller.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah, exactly.
Didn't we had to, I think we stopped in Newfoundland, didn't we? Didn't they have to refuel in Newfoundland? I can't remember, but I remember it was a long haul.
Yeah.
And we had to get all dressed up to go on the plane, eh?
Right.
Yeah,
which was big deal back in those
not
days.
like nowadays.
People wear their shorts and got
exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so you get over there and you landed in Marville?
Oh, geez.
I believe we did.
landed in Paris and drove there.
Oh,
I'm not sure. I don't.
No, we landed in Marville.
Marville, I think.
Yes, we did, and they had the air base there, and we landed there, and we were met by our sponsor.
That's right.
Dad had a sponsor lined up.
Yeah, I can't remember the name, but my mum would know that straight away.
I was going to say Bill Muir, but I don't think it was Bill Muir. I think it was
someone else. That sponsor idea was good.
It was very good.
Yeah.
Oh,
so you where did you get put?
Well, it was strange. I remember the smells.
Everything was so different.
Were unbelievable. We went winding through the countryside, and we ended up in a town called Saint Mard.
In Belgium.
It was a dual town, Saint Mard, Virton.
And Virton.
And we were in Saint Mard. And the first place that we moved into was like a tall...
It was like a rooming house,
It was like a rooming house.
Yeah.
And my sisters had to sleep 2 floors above where my parents had to sleep. So my mum never slept because she was so worried about the kids.
There were other men in the bedroom beside us that we didn't know. Yeah, we were upstairs.
And it was a shared bathroom.
Shared bathroom. So there'd be strangers coming back and forth. We never knew. And my sister, my poor sister, my younger sister, she was 5 years. She was just tiny. She was only about 8 years old, I think.
About that.
But she was tired. She couldn't sleep at all. She she was just too. It was too strange for her.
Too much. And cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I able to use car yet?
Yeah. Well, not for long.
Okay.
But come back relatively soon.
I don't know yet.
So, how long did you stay there for?
Only a few weeks, as far as I
well,
can tell.
in
Maybe
the
a
rooming
month.
house.
Yeah, in the rooming house.
Just a few weeks.
Okay.
And
So my father was being pushed by my mother to go
Yeah.
and change it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, for sure.
they finally did, and they got us a house.
oh, it was lovely.
And that was a nice house.
It had been a doctor's house.
Yeah.
Remember, the landlord had told us that
Yeah.
the doctor had stayed in that house at one time.
So you got the
lovely
whole house.
big
Yeah.
a lovely big old. It was a row house. It was
Right.
all, they were all attached,
Oh, okay.
as most of them
Yeah.
were over
Yeah.
there.
But it had a backyard.
It had a lovely
I
backyard.
didn't know anybody that had. You guys were doing
Oh, it
good.
was nice. It was
Yeah.
very nice. I remember it being nice. Now the funny thing is, it had a wood burning stove in the kitchen.
Okay.
So my mom's like, "How am I supposed to use this?"
Oh, for the cooking.
Yeah, it was like an aga,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
a
for
proper
sure.
old cast iron, you
Right.
know, and you had to have that lit first thing in the morning because there's no heating in the house.
No heating
No central
whatsoever.
heating. It was just had a big potbelly stove in the living room.
Right.
That we fed coal into, and the landlord provided us with the coal in the
Yeah.
backyard.
Yeah.
We'd have to shovel the coal, remember?
Yeah,
But the kitchen, Mum used to put the fire when she figured out how to do it. She'd
Yeah.
get the fire started in the kitchen so we wouldn't be freezing. Because
Yeah.
by then it's like
Oh, yeah.
it was about October by the
Yeah,
time we
yeah.
were in this place. But it was a beautiful house.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you guys really lucked out in one way.
Yeah.
I didn't know anybody that lived.
It was great living in Saint Martin, Verton. We went to
yeah.
Verton, and there was an actual theater there.
was a theater.
and we actually saw. Oh, what
did
was
we
it?
see?
That lion, free.
Born Free.
Born Free. Born Free was in.
It was in
the
French,
theaters.
though, wasn't
Yeah, it was in French.
It was in French, but we watched it anyway.
Yeah.
You know, we were just so happy to have something.
And I remember, getting French fries with mayonnaise, and we
yeah.
thought that was the best. You know,
Best
it was
thing
just
ever.
delicious, and we really enjoyed living on the economy.
There were a few Canadians living there. Remember, there was
Yeah.
Rick
Yeah.
Chambers was a good friend.
Yes, that's right.
Close by.
Yeah.
But we made some friends with some
Well,
of the French kids
Jane
too.
Breathitt
Jane
was,
Breathitt lived
lived
close
there.
by. Yeah.
Did you pick up French? A little
Oh, un petit peu.
Not as much as we should have.
No.
It's funny because I can remember at one point when we were getting ready to start school, Mom had said, "Well, you can go to the French school if you want, or you can go to the Canadian school." And I was like, I really wanted to go to the French school, but I chickened out at the last minute, and I said, "No, I'll go with my brothers and sisters."
Yeah.
and go
It'd
to
be
the
very
Canadian.
hard to go to the French school.
It
I
would
think
have been
so.
hard, but
Yeah.
you know, when you're young, it doesn't really
You would
matter.
have learned. You would have had to swim or sink.
Well, but it would have been
Yeah.
it would have been a good decision, I think,
Would have
when you
for
think
me,
about it.
for sure, especially doing our careers in Ottawa. It would have been great
I mean,
to
we've
have
been in the
friends.
government or
If
in
they-
Ottawa,
If
which
they would
is
have understood you.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
right, right.
Yeah.
Bush French.
yeah,
Parisian.
that's
Yeah.
Okay, so you.
So we lived there from like October right through to like April, didn't
true.
we?
Yeah.
So who is you had the sisters? Who are the others? What's their names?
Well, Janet is the oldest. She's 70.
Okay.
Just turned
Today.
70 today.
Mm-hmm.
And then me, and then Jean,
And then Elisa.
and then Elisa.
is the youngest
How old is
one.
Elisa now? 65.
62.
Yeah, about
60,
that.
62,
I think
I think.
62.
Right.
Yeah.
And my mom's still alive.
Yes.
Oh, great.
91.
91.
She'll be 92 in January.
Well, good health to her.
Oh,
Yes.
she's amazing.
Solid.
Yeah,
She's
fantastic.
amazing.
They don't make them.
We still go every year. We all get together.
All the siblings.
And the husbands of the siblings that
Uh-huh.
still are alive.
And my mum.
And my mom, and we rent
London.
cottages.
We rent
In
in London, Ontario.
Oh, London, Ontario.
Yeah,
okay.
and she actually now, because of poor health,
Yeah.
she actually
Yeah.
lives with my sister and her husband.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They've arranged
That's
a
nice,
little tiny internal apartment
Yeah,
for her to have
little
in their
granny-
house.
granny house.
Little
Yeah.
granny suite. So
Little granny suite, yeah.
it's extended
Oh,
her
it's a
life.
godsend, yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
amazing for her.
But,
and to move in with your family is important too.
Oh,
You
she's
should get along with it.
That's
she's
right.
so lucky.
Well, we all
We're
do.
all lucky.
I mean, we all, as I say, we go to rent a cottage every year.
Yeah, all
Usually
of
in
us.
Prince Edward County, but also Lake Huron.
Yeah.
Right.
Up
Somewhere
and down.
different all the time, yeah.
Yeah, different places, different years, but we really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about school? So you went to Canadian school.
We did.
On the base, right?
Right.
High school.
Yeah.
I remember Lester and I were talking about the first time I met him was we were sitting in class and the teacher presented the new student and he said his name and everybody
laughed.
was aghast. No, everybody was everybody was like everybody I know, including myself, was like, he's so lucky. Couldn't believe it. Like, how lucky can you get named after the Prime Minister? You know, like. But I hear the teacher didn't believe it.
No, he didn't.
A lot of times people.
She didn't, and she sent me to the office, and so, which I went. But I know that a lot of people always talk about that. They remember that incident. Whenever we have reunions and so on.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what sports? What's up with you, Dean? What sports did you play?
I didn't play any sports. We're not a very sporty family, I have to say.
No.
The Pearsons, by and large, are not a sporty family.
I played some sports, but and this incident happened. I think you were told about it. George Bolton. We were playing soccer. And. George Bolton was the goalie, and I was going towards the net, and we both ran for the ball.
At the same time.
And we both tried to kick the ball, but we hit each other's shins, and poor old George shattered his shin bone. And I felt terrible about it, and in fact that's probably why I never did team sports after that.
Wow.
But in any case,
did we play on the same team?
Probably
because I played soccer for 3 years.
It was big over there. It was quite popular.
But this was just for school, though. This was just for school.
We had the French team over once.
Okay. No, I was.
That'd be fun.
I don't think I was that good at it
Do
to
you
start
remember my
with.
nickname?
No.
It was JC.
JC.
Really? Eh?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't get shoes my size, so I wore sandals.
Oh, get out!
All year round.
Playing soccer.
Yeah, and the teacher said to me, "You can't wear those unless they look like shoes." So I went out and got that duct tape,
Wow.
and I wound it around. And he let me play until they were tattered and flying behind me.
For heaven's
You must have been good.
No, I never got the ball most of the time because I was playing back and it was always over there. And
right.
A lot of running involved in soccer.
But one time, my glorious one time in the 3 years when I got the ball, the French guy came at me and we're both kicking at the ball. And the feet are going, and he fell over. But the ball's still in action. He's kicking, I'm kicking, the ball's still going, so there's no whistle. And then second Frenchman comes and he's kicking and he falls down. So now there's two Frenchmen on the ground, the ball's still in action, so there's no whistle. And then a third Frenchman came and he fell down. So the three, and finally I escaped and I ran down there and I'm right in front of the goal and they kicked it into it. Missed.
Jeez.
And I was so disappointed. But my teammates were so happy because I knocked down 3 Frenchmen.
Jeez.
That's a riot. That's a riot.
Okay, so if you didn't play sports so much, what did you do in your...
Well, I was in grade 8 at the time. I was just 13, and my interest was art. I loved to paint. So there was no art. Art wasn't a subject that you got taught in the curriculum at that particular school at that time. And so I had heard that, what was he? Was he the math teacher? Mr. Dunn, I think his name was. Do you remember? Short, stocky guy. I think he had
box
arm wrestling or something.
Yeah, he was Mr. Arms of Ontario, I think, or something. And I used to go to that as well. I went to a weightlifting class. With Mr. Dunn.
Oh, that's funny.
After hours.
Well, I convinced him, Mr. Dunn, to teach art for us because there was a group of us, Dave McLean being one of them.
Oh, of course.
And I went to him and I said, we've got some kids here that are really interested in art, and we're in France. I mean, come on. So he said he'd agreed to teach it after hours. So he taught us. So we did that as extracurricular.
Did you do anything like home economics?
Oh, I loved home economics. Oh, yeah.
They taught that?
Oh, yes, they did.
Cooking and sewing.
They did cooking and sewing.
The I don't think any of the guys took that, right?
No,
I don't
that
think,
would be
and
usually
you didn't get any shop class, did you?
We did.
Did you get shop? Okay, well, there
I
you go.
heard today for the first time what happened to the shops teacher.
Wow.
Do you know about him?
No.
Well, he was sent home because he liked, he was doing too much patting with the boys.
Oh,
really?
no, you're kidding.
I never heard that before.
Wow, scandal.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like nowadays you can't open up a newspaper without finding somebody else has been caught out.
Well,
seems.
That's
this
right.
is it. But on the Air Force Base, you know,
Didn't hear about that. No.
Yeah.
everybody, but I never heard about that.
Wow. Wow.
Okay, so how about dating and like teen dance?
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys go to that?
Yeah, we always, it was the only entertainment.
Yeah.
You've got to remember there were no TVs.
That's right.
We had the radio station, what was it called? CF, the Air Force
remember.
That's right, I used to
station.
listen
But
to
remember on a
Yeah.
Friday night, one of the kids would go and get to do the teenage
Yeah,
show
they had
on
that
the radio. What was it
music.
called?
What was it called?
Wipeout.
Wipeout.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Who was doing that?
It
I
was
don't know,
different.
but you know, Bill Peterson was part of that.
Yeah.
He was a DJ.
Oh.
And I think Dave Buston did too for a while.
Yeah, I think so.
And
I think you're right.
And was Chris Anderson in on that,
I'm not
or
sure.
Robin maybe?
Now, did
There
you
was a
ever
few of
listen to
them.
the communists talking on the radio?
No.
Because they used to know everything about what, because they were in the hills, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they'd be all in the
That's
hills.
right.
Yeah, they would've
Gendarmes
been
would go
close.
by with their Sten guns and their
Yeah.
motorbikes, looking for those guys. But they knew everything.
Oh,
Congratulations to Mrs. Simpson for a new baby or something.
Yeah.
Well, we would do all that on the radio.
Yeah.
We'd even, because there were no telephones, so you try to make a date with somebody to meet somewhere. You had nothing to do. So we used to tell some guy that was going to be running the radio station after 11 o'clock at night. They'd hand it over to the teenagers.
Right.
And you'd say, tell so-and-so I'm going to meet him tomorrow at the such and such place.
remember
And
that.
he'd announce it on the radio.
That's
Do you
right.
remember?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that was in
Very
Lahr
cool.
as well.
In Lahr as
Yeah.
well, it was the same.
Well,
Yeah.
I guess the parents were listening to that. Oh, that's great.
No, it was good. It was a good way to get it. Kids, there was no way to communicate.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you had some people living on the base, at the trailer camp. You
That's
had
right.
some people living in PMQs, which is another 15 miles away.
Yeah.
And then you had some people living in Belgium, which was another 15 miles away.
Right.
So it was like it was
Triangle,
a long
yeah.
area to fill in, yeah.
So, teen dance, Friday night.
Oh, it's great.
Oh, it was amazing.
But how about the challenge where the guys are over here and the girls are over there?
Ah.
Did you?
Well, I remember Pat Lundy and Leslie Cook.
Leslie Cook. Yeah.
Oh, it was fantastic. I don't know. It's I don't recall the separation particularly, but it wasn't long before we ended up going to downtown.
Yeah.
To
Well,
dance.
there'd be the dance, and then when the
there'd
dance,
be the dance,
broke
and
up,
then we'd go down and we'd
the
start
older
drinking.
kids. Oh.
Did you? Now I remember a whole bunch of us went down there after every, but some of us were carrying those switchblades that we bought at the drugstore. You know, the drugstore
Really?
down
Wow.
for 25,
Nah.
25 centimes.
Yeah.
I had my switchblade until forestry.
Wow.
Really? Eh?
Wow.
I didn't use it on
No, I never got into that.
No.
I mean, I'm not into that.
Pacifist.
Yeah.
Well, actually, we were like, it was all bravado because we did meet a gang of French guys once. I wouldn't say a gang, a group of them, and we went down there specifically to fight them. And when we met them, everybody chickened out, and we started trading cigarettes.
Exactly.
Well, that's good. That's good.
And a lot of that, as you say, false bravado.
Yeah.
It was basically these kids were curious about these kids, and they wanted to find a way to connect.
Yeah.
So let's pick a fight and see who gets on top.
That's right. Well, one day
You know.
when we were doing this bravado bit, somebody called the gendarmes, and they came around. And I don't know if you know the story, but they caught a few of us. Not many of them, didn't catch me.
Yeah.
But they caught a few of us, and they got the names. So the next morning they went up to the PMs and the military police.
Yeah.
And they said, they got out the paper of names, and they said, we're looking for Monsieur Donaldo Duck.
Donaldo Duck.
And all these names.
And all the MPs were laughing. I bet they had a good time.
Buddy, you know.
Oh, wow.
Nobody got caught at that rate.
No.
But John's, you remember John's bar?
The bar.
Yes.
From what I hear, the bar's still there.
Yes,
Really?
that's right.
I hope
that's
to be
right.
interviewing him next May.
Oh,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Well, we see Jim Thompson quite a bit. He's in Ottawa.
He's in
Dale
Ottawa.
Thompson.
Yeah.
And anyway, I went on Google Earth and went to see John's, and it's still there. And you know, it was fantastic to see it
I don't know if
live
I'd recognize
again.
it. I don't know if I'd recognize
And I actually went down from the
You can zoom
PMQs
in,
just by memory, thinking where it was, and I was able to get to it.
Wow.
Right across from where they sold the gravestones, you know,
I wouldn't have remembered that.
I remember it. Yeah,
Wow, you're good.
It's fantastic.
It's neat when you can walk around in the towns and you remember things that way. Yeah. I was much younger than these guys, so
well, not much.
I would go sometimes downtown, but not often.
I was 14 when I went.
I went in a couple of times. I remember the popular drink there. It was like
Pernod.
well, no, that not.
Oh, okay.
For the young ones, they would have it would be like a beer, and they'd put a shot of green stuff in there, creme de menthe or
creme
something.
de menthe.
Or another one with grenadine. They put grenadine in the beer just to sweeten it up a wee bit, I guess.
Right.
But I still don't like beer.
I didn't like French beer.
Yes.
Hey, there's some good beer.
Oh.
Good
Well,
beer
we drank enough, so I shouldn't complain.
Yeah. You managed to work your way.
I mean,
through.
Belgium. We were lucky. We lived in Belgium for a time because I mean, Belgian beer is the best.
Well,
in
and
the
to
world.
this day, that's all my husband will drink is Belgian
beer and Belgian potato fries.
Oh, and the fries, the French fries, they were the best.
Yeah. The funny thing that I remember in John's was later on I found out the upstairs was being put to use. Did you know that?
Really? No, it wasn't a brothel.
He was renting rooms. No, to us, to the teenagers.
To the teenagers?
Really?
If you want to go up there and with your girlfrild.
Well, one thing that I remember of that bar
I'm not surprised.
is that they only had one bathroom.
Oh,
they only had one bathroom, and it was for both guys and girls.
Well,
And so some of the teenage guys would guard the door if their girls were going in to the washroom.
Oh, that's chivalrous.
Well, it was. But, you know, later on that in the evening, probably no one cared.
Move over, get out of the door.
Well, with us living in Belgium for most of the time we were in France, we had the curfew that you had to get on the last bus home, or you're out of luck.
Then you're out of luck.
Because then you had no way to call your parents and say, I won't be home tonight, I'm staying at so-and-so.
Did you ever miss the bus?
Oh, I'm sure you must have, and probably stayed with Dave McLean or something like that.
Not Dave McLean at that time. That would be Cliff Austin.
Oh,
I
maybe Cliff.
I don't know whether I even knew David McLean until Lar.
Oh, maybe so.
I don't even know whether he was in Marville.
Oh.
I think he was only in Lar.
Oh, maybe. He was the minister's son.
Oh, okay.
So. Yeah, it may have been just in Lar.
Did you know? Now, something I never asked anybody.
What?
Did you know any? Did you go to church?
Never went to church. No. We were never churchgoers to begin with.
Yeah.
Now there was a beautiful church in the town of St. Maud where we lived, and we went in there and just to look around because we had heard that there was it a German soldier stuck in the tower, in the bell tower, and when the Germans came into that town and had invaded during the Second World War. He had hid out in the church tower, and he stayed there for days and days. And if you went up the tower, you could still see the days where he was marking the days off.
But he was German.
He was, and he was trapped there.
He was trapped.
Leave. His gang,
so he was going to be killed,
and he was afraid to come out, so he was hiding.
Yeah, I don't know whether they killed him or
I don't know. I
made
can't
him
remember
a prisoner,
what happened.
You know,
but he finally, I think
there must be thousands of those stories all over France, all over
the row we lived on. You could still see the machine gun holes all over the walls.
They've moved, the holes I think are still there because the town hasn't changed much.
No.
It's cleaner.
Yes.
But both Longuyon and Montmédy, the holes are still there. But
wow.
They took, I was thinking along around the camp, on the base, there was a barbed wire with those watchtowers, those green watchtowers where the machine gun place.
Yeah.
That's all gone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and they replaced it with
The
bushes,
scary
high bushes. Yeah.
It was
We,
kind of-
we put them to use, though. We used to throw. We did a lot of bad things. We used to go to them to dump and collect that plasma blood.
Oh, God.
And then we'd get one of us in dirty clothing that we didn't need, and splash it with blood.
Yeah.
And then throw some blood on the highway.
And pretend to
And wait for a French car to come and then stagger out and.
Oh, geez.
scare the living daylights out of them.
Rick Chambers and his father used to go to dumps regularly, and they had a treasure trove of German Second World War helmets, First World War helmets, Prussian helmets, swords from the 15th century. I still have one. I still have one of those, a foil. Right. A French foil. I mean, those dumps back then, and not everyone knew enough to go to them and dig, because they were a treasure trove. Absolute treasure trove.
I would have spent more time there if I'd known that. My friend and I used to go at night to Norman Crawley and hunt rats.
Yes,
Wow.
With spears.
You had with spears. My God.
We sent flaming tires down the road.
Holy
I can remember them saying that. But there were things there were unexploded grenades in some of those old bunkers. We heard of accidents that some kids had.
You want some more?
No, I'm fine. I'm good.
I never went near the bunkers.
No, but a lot of people did, looking for artifacts and treasures.
Did you guys ever go to the woods and look for that?
No. I was too chicken. I was too chicken.
Not Nigel, but Jeff Davis. Did you know him?
It rings a bell.
Yeah, Jeff Davis. We knew Jeff Davis.
Rings a bell.
He went to LAR. I'm pretty sure he did.
I don't know.
He was younger than you, wasn't he?
Maybe about
Jeff
a year
Davies. Was he the one that was? Did he hook up with Susan Try? And did he live?
Yes, I think
behind us.
Yeah, I think
in
so.
LAR.
Oh no, you're thinking of Peter Hughes.
Oh, Peter Hughes.
No.
So he. Anyway, we used to call it the skeleton bush because we used to find dead bodies in there.
What?
Of soldiers.
You're kidding me.
Yeah. I mean, they hadn't been because those woods are quite extensive.
Yeah.
And if you just sort of meandered through there's no path or anything like that. And we found this one where we got that, where we sort of christened these particular woods, skeleton woods. We found this body. Well, it was just the bones. And the soldier of some army had just sat under the tree, and obviously wounded. He died there. But before he died, he hung up his gun belt on the branch above, and he just died there. And it was like,
wow. Touching, eh?
Yeah, it was. It really was.
And in the woods outside of where? Outside of Longueuil?
No. If you were at the trailer camp.
Oh, okay.
If you went down the road a bit, and then you went in.
Yes.
We were always going in there getting monkey business.
Yeah.
Okay, so how about here's some sort of other questions.
Yeah.
And I posed them to the other guys, and the interesting reaction. So I only thought about this a couple of years ago. Was we were sitting ducks for a nuclear war.
Yes.
Yeah. And I don't ever remember practicing.
No.
Like get under the table or run away.
It's funny that you say that, because in LAR they actually had the nuclear bomb up the road in Baden, didn't they? We were really sitting ducks there as well. But I'm sure we were in France as well.
Yeah.
No, we didn't.
We practiced in Toronto.
Something in Toronto. Yeah. But that was civilian school.
Yeah, it was. But it was in 63, 64.
And the military didn't do it.
No. They probably figured, well, it's no good anyway.
It's not going to do you any good. And when we were in Toronto in the civilian school, they said, go under your desk and go like this. It's like,
ridiculous.
really? That's going to do anything? But I remember during the Cuban Missile Crisis, again, we were living in Toronto at Downsview at base at that time.
First time I've seen my father come home with a
real worried look on his face.
Well, no, but in these fatigues kind of thing, and a rifle or something, like he brought home.
It was scary.
Yeah, it was.
And,
it was very strange.
But now I do remember when we were in France, in Marville, they had what did they call that? The alerts. they had the alerts.
Yeah.
Snowball. The snowball. Because there were no phones.
Yeah,
so one guy would go out and knock on the other guy's door, and then he'd go and knock, and they had the whole routine to rouse the men to get to camp, to get to their posts.
Isn't it amazing? No phones.
What a difference, eh? Yeah. And now it's all cell phones. And,
cell phones.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
And you could hit a text and go to 500 people if you want.
But when you think what was at stake.
Oh, I know.
Especially back then. You were in the height of the Cold War.
Yeah.
There was so much unrest. They had only just recently killed Kennedy.
Yeah, that's right.
And I mean, like, when you think of the danger, we were all in, and we were like, oh, this is a riot, let's go drinking downtown, you know? Like,
yeah, right.
Well, we were, but you know,
the innocence of youth.
I think it was Marshall I was talking to in Colbert.
Yeah. Oh, Marshall Gummer?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
And I think it was him, I might be mistaken, but I think it was him that said they worried about it a lot.
Yeah. Maybe it's something to do with his dad's position. I mean, what was your dad doing? What was his? Was he in a trade?
No, my dad was
radar
in the tower. Radar.
Well, you would think radar. They'd have the the lowdown on what was going on. But like our dad was a mechanic, so we knew, when there was going to be a big scramble, he'd have to be out there to take care of the engines when they came back, stuff like that. Yeah. But that's really all we got out of it, wasn't it?
We were.
Yeah, I mean,
and I remember also when we were in, I think it was in Lar, when they walked into the Czech Republic, isn't that when they in 60?
Well, that was 68.
68, yeah. So they were all on high alert. They were all on high
that's
alert.
Right. Yeah.
And there were lots of those snowballs going on, and lots of the men were on high alert.
Well, I didn't learn until I met David Lowry in Calgary. I knew the CF-104s were capable. They were used for recon, but I didn't know that they could handle nuclear bombs.
Oh my!
Really?
And the nuclear bombs were on the Germans kept in Baden-Baden.
Yes, they kept them in. They had silos in Baden.
The Americans did anyway. Not the Germans.
Kept them for us. Canadians can't be trusted.
Oh no! No way!
That was a weird. I mean, okay. So let's go on to the next one.
Sorry
when did you find out that you were leaving?
Oh, it was.
Well, we knew quite ahead of time.
Well, we heard
it was our turn to go.
Well, leaving France and going to Lar?
Or going to Lar.
Because when we heard that, we heard
that was sudden because it was
that de Gaulle was pulling out of NATO. So there was all that talk, and then everybody. I remember all the rumor mills going like crazy, and the parents talking, "What's going to happen? What are we going to do? What's going to, what's it going to lead to?" Nobody, the ranks down below, the low ranks, they never heard. All they heard were the rumors.
Right.
Yeah. That's how I recall it, anyways.
Yeah.
But I remember the guy I was going out with. His dad was, a senior officer. I was going out with Mike Bissell. I don't know if you remember the Bissells. Bissells. I think he was fairly high up. His dad.
Oh, yeah, I think he was a major.
I think he was something like that. But so they may have known things that we didn't know. But I remember when it finally came down that we would be moving to Germany. And we were going to be taking over this base that had been occupied by French armed forces.
Right.
We were like, when?
But it was great for me because I got a job out of it.
You did. But remember,
Robin Anderson and I were in there, moving stuff into Lar, and we stayed in Lar. Away from our parents, which was quite something, What an amazing, really.
Because how old would you be? 16, maybe.
15, 16, thereabouts. And
helping out.
Oh yeah, it was great. Yeah.
But I remember thinking, but what about the school year? Because they advanced our classes in France.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, were you there in 66 when we were vacated?
No, 67.
67. It was 67, not 66. Yeah. We arrived in 66. But in 67, we were all excited about Canadian Centennial, but we were also knew we were going to not be there at the end of, we weren't going to be at school by June.
Yeah.
Remember, we had to finish early.
That's right.
And hightail it to Lar, and then we got to Lar and there was no housing for us.
And we only had half day school.
Yeah.
Remember, for a long time.
Because they didn't have a school set up for us in Lar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It was going to be on the base, but it wasn't ready yet. So then we shared a German school.
That's right.
The kids, they shared it with us. So we went early in the morning and they went later in the afternoon.
Oh,
It was a schmozzle.
Yeah.
It really was. It was.
But it was great for having more time off, and so we got to go down to the downtown.
Figure out all the bars in Lar,
and we got to know all the bars. It was fantastic.
I wish I'd gone there because I heard a lot.
Oh, the Bahnhof, the old man's place.
A bigger city than Longueuil, a much bigger town.
Earlier today, I was at Louise Patterson's place.
Oh yeah.
And she told me her first big date was with the German guy who ran some kind of fair or something downtown.
Oh really? Yeah.
And she went to there were like one or two places where not the Beatles, but other groups used to play.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there was
Offenbach.
Yeah, Offenbach and probably Karlsruhe and Triberg and all those places.
Probably,
I'd love to.
Oh, it was great. Well, but we had with our school. Well, you remember there was always a band playing in Marville of Canadian kids, right? For the Friday nights.
I never heard them.
Oh, didn't you?
Oh, for the Friday night, for sure.
Yeah. Because I always remember the guy I was going out with. He was playing guitar.
Yeah, that's
but
right.
But then when we went to Lar, we had another bunch of kids that got together and put together Jennifer's Tribe and what was Doug's
East
called?
India Tea
East
Company.
India Tea Company. We had a couple. Doug Gross. And Doug Gross still lives here.
And he still
plays guitar
at the bars all around. He still works, but
I run into him all the time.
Wow.
Every weekend and every Wednesday he's out at the
so that's
pubs.
like 50 odd years of playing guitar?
Yeah, that's right.
Years.
Oh, he's got tons of guitars.
Very good.
He's
Pat. The Pat?
Donovan.
Oh, Pat Donovan.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Didn't Pat play with Jennifer's Tribe for a little while?
I don't think so.
No?
Don McCauley.
Oh no,
Robin,
yeah.
I'm getting them mixed up. There's
Pat and there's Garnet.
There was
brothers.
Garnet. Well, Garnet had the fast cars and a shop in town that sold antiques and everything.
Oh.
He was doing pretty good in the antique business.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Pat seemed to be involved in it in some way or two. He had a nice place.
Yeah.
And all this antique furniture and things.
Wow.
But we lost all our antique. It's all above a Bay of Fundy there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Bay of Fundy.
The ship went down. That his father's shipment was on.
Yeah, he put the new Volvo and all the paintings and all the stuff he collected.
Ship.
Oh, what a shame.
Yeah, the ship made it over and then hit another ship in a fog in the Bay of Fundy. 16 men and 2 ships and 300 cars.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So
and if because those cars would have been ram-packed with contraband, no doubt. All the cigarettes and the 80 ounce cigarettes and booze.
I mean, those are dangerous straits, but if you dive down there,
you'd find a fortune.
300 cars are full of campers.
Some vintage. I bet there'd be some good stuff.
Right. Wow. It takes its toll.
Yeah, it would.
I mean, if it went into silt, it would be okay, but it doesn't.
Wow.
I should talk to somebody about that.
Yeah, there's a scavenger.
Instead of Oak Island, you go searching in Bay of Fundy.
Well, how far is Oak Island from?
It's closer to.
It's on the other side.
More.
That's a crazy.
Yeah, it's on the east side of Nova Scotia.
Oh yeah. So so we talked about the new base. So you had a good time there. You enjoyed it, right?
Yeah, loved it.
We loved Lar, for sure.
And proper accommodations.
Oh,
finally,
we were in a trailer camp for a little while, but once we got into our accommodation, it was great.
It was very nice, yeah.
And now you mixed with the French,
we did.
And you mixed with the Germans.
Oh,
Well, a
yeah,
lot of the
yeah.
Germans.
Great, yeah.
Well, there were a lot of them were our age, you know, and we'd be at the same bar, so naturally you couldn't help but get to know some.
I don't remember fights. Do you remember
No,
fights?
although one guy used to break glass and chew it and eat it.
Just to show off.
To show off, and I thought, oh my God, that is ridiculous. But anyway, but I mean, that's just teenage stuff.
And at that 2000 reunion that was here in Ottawa,
some Germans
a couple of Germans came over that remembered us
from that time.
That area, from that era in the late 60s.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you came back, where did you go to?
Trenton.
Trenton, okay.
Dad was transferred to Trenton. That's where he retired.
And that's where you guys sort of went your own way?
Well, we finished school. Both of it, Jean and I, finished high school there.
Yeah.
And we.
I got married there. And moved
she
to
got
Ottawa.
married to Al Smith, who my brother-in-law, who was also in Lahr.
In Lahr.
And they hooked up early in Lahr.
Right.
And they were just inseparable, completely inseparable.
You kind of still are, aren't
Yeah,
we?
you still are.
Kind of still are.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Coming up to 50
And it's
years.
fantastic. Yeah, 50 years.
almost.
Eh?
What was his
Jeez.
L.A. Smith.
Alain Smith.
Yeah.
Did you ever bump into Linda Crow?
Linda Crow, I know that name, but I don't think I've never
I always
seen.
wanted to meet her because she got such a ribbing and abuse in class because of her name.
Because of her name, Crow.
Yeah, Crow.
Well, that's kind of a neat name, though.
It's a very neat name, yeah.
But I remember...
She wasn't Aboriginal background, was she? No.
Oh, not that I know of. I don't think there were any Asians or Aboriginals.
Oh, well, Robin Anderson's family.
Really? Robin
His
Anderson.
father, his grandfather was a chief.
Yeah.
A chief of an Indian group. I'm not sure where.
Northern Ontario.
Is it Northern Ontario?
It was Northern
okay,
Ontario.
yeah. I've got pictures of him.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there were Indigenous people working in the armed forces back then, but
Cogleys.
Cogleys, yeah, that was another group, yeah.
Have you ever been back to Marville?
I've not been back to... Oh, we went back once in '69, just before we came back to Canada. We went back to see, just to look around.
Right.
I'm not sure if you were with us.
No,
Janet and Steve.
I don't think so.
Al was with us, me and Tina and Tom.
Was the camp open?
The
it was the Basse
PMQ
Canadien or something.
Something like that.
They actually called it
They called it like Little Canada or something.
Yeah, which was kind of nice.
It was nice, and the apartment blocks, you know, the PMQs had all been filled, all been taken over and filled.
I was there 4 years ago. They're looking nicer than they ever were.
Is that right?
New siding.
Wow.
Where the baseball in the middle was all grassed over.
Fantastic.
Somebody puts up the Canadian flag every day. I don't know who does.
Oh, isn't
that is
sweet?
cool. That is cool.
Very nice.
Cool, yeah.
See, our younger sister, Elisa, she keeps saying, I want to go back there. I want to go back there. She wants to go to Marville and she wants to go to
So we're waiting for her to
retire, her husband to retire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, it's got to be a problem for the French living in PMQs, and I heard they have signs up in front of their door which says, basically it says Canadians get lost. Because people have been knocking, can I come and see my old apartment?
Oh, you're kidding.
Really?
Fed up with it, you know?
Oh,
well,
no
I'll
doubt.
bet.
No doubt.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But you can't help it because it was...
Well, I know.
It's such
I could help it. I don't get
It's such a strong memory.
I'm not going to look in the apartments.
No.
Who cares?
Yeah,
I mean,
I'd like
a
to
couple
see
of bedrooms
the
and a
town
kitchen
and stuff.
Yeah, I'd like to see the
But
town. I'd like to see Marville again, and I'd like to see the base again.
Yeah.
But just
The base
peripherally.
The runway has been tarred over. It's now an emergency pit stop for fighter jets.
Oh, is it?
French fighter jets.
Okay.
French fighter jets.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if the tower is being fixed up.
So you're not going to go anywhere near that.
No.
You wouldn't be allowed.
No.
But Marville would be kind of neat. And
Well, no,
same
you
Marville
Languillon.
get on the base because
you-
the base is a free tax zone. You know,
Free tax zone?
Yeah, it's weird because half the base, a lot of it have, like the school.
Yeah.
It's still locked up in cobwebs and
Oh, all right.
Kidding.
Nobody's
Same
using
as
it.
probably the same as 1968.
Yeah.
Wow.
But sort of further in where some of the buildings have kind of collapsed because the ground underneath them has become soft.
Oh,
Sort
yeah.
of broken and collapsed. But
Yeah.
some of the major buildings have been taken over by businesses.
Okay.
businesses. All right, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, and at the behind the PMQs is all kinds of really
Well,
nice.
they had
furniture.
all those, hangers and warehouse type things that could have multiple purposes.
Yeah.
That those could be reused for.
So I think you can still get in.
Wow.
So just to finish up, the question that we talked a lot about on these things, but if somebody was to look at this film 30 years from now, what kind of message would you like to pass on to them? You know, for example, some people talk about there's no phones and how it is to no
well,
TVs.
to me, the most important thing that I have taken away from my travels with my parents, and then I joined Foreign Affairs to do the same thing with my family, is the enjoyment and the what you get out of traveling and meeting other people and cultures
that are different than what
I would recommend that to anyone and everyone. Now, in the future, 30 years from now, you're not supposed to be traveling by air unless it's an electric airplane. So it's going to be harder to travel, perhaps, through the world.
With
it's
climate
going to be
change
rough
goes.
stuff with climate change. But you can still read about other cultures and other people, which is second best thing. But if you can find a way to live in other cultures, I would do it. I would recommend that very highly.
Yeah.
It colors your perspective of the world.
It makes you even appreciate your own country more.
Oh yeah.
I remember being in a meeting once with a minister, Pettigrew.
Yeah.
And he was a Rhodes Scholar, and he said traveling to the UK and living in the UK made him more proud to be a Canadian than had he stayed in Canada.
Oh
well,
yeah,
we're the ambassadors, so to speak. Well, in Japan's the same way.
Exactly.
Finally, Canadians got the right to vote outside the country.
Yes. Right.
And I think rightly so, because
well, of course. Yes, you're ambassadors. Exactly
we
so.
talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
People ask us.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's a wonderful thing.
Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome.
You're welcome.
And 3